Hey, welcome back to 40K Amateur Hour. We are going to do a little bit with the new edition, whatever you want to call it. Seventh new living, however you want to put the edition that they're calling it.
It is officially 2 days old.
2 days old. Oh. One of the things that a lot of people are talking about are how to run the psychic phase. If you're old school, you kind of recognize some of this, or if you play Warhammer the Fantasy, it's kind of similar to that as well. So we're going to show you.
The Fantasy?
Yeah.
That was proper English.
Fantasy.
Sorry.
The Fantasy formerly known as Warhammer?
Yeah, anyway. All right, so it's not as difficult if you're familiar with those things, but it's a little bit new to 5th and 6th players. So we're going to go over a couple of steps on how to do the new psychic phase.
The new psychic phase.
The new psychic
Which
phase.
is good because I've not been a big Psyker guy in the past, but now I've got Inquisitors with Psyker powers and some Bound Psykers with Psyker powers. So now I gotta know, and Rico's gonna show me.
Chad doesn't know. He hasn't seen the new book, so we're gonna teach him. And as we're teaching him, we'll teach you. So the book is we'll do a review of the book later, but the psychic phase is kind of wordy. We're gonna simplify it. In fact, this talking is probably gonna be longer than the actual psychic phase.
A lot longer.
Whittle it down.
All right.
Psychic phase.
All right, now with the new rules, we can take what is called the Unbound Force. So this is our massive Unbound Force, which allows us to field all of our different types of models. So for this is our Unbound Force of all of our massive models. So what we have decided is we had to choose what our psychic abilities were. Now the interesting thing is, there actually are 2 new psychic abilities that show up. They are in the demonology school. One is Sanctic and the other one is Malefic. Now, the thing about this is, one is summoning demons and the other one is banishing them for the most part and using good kind of powers and dark kind of powers. So it kind of limits a little bit on who can use what. To some, like Chaos can only use the Malefic and the Sanctic is only used by like Grey Knights, and others can kind of mix and match some things. So, with that in mind though, we picked them somewhat similar to what we did in the old book. Right? Got that?
Right, sure.
Okay.
Have you ever considered moving the camera?
No. No, I don't think he wants to. Okay. So with these awesome forces we have already pre-rolled. What is really interesting though now is even a level 1 Psyker guy can have more than the 1 power if he chooses to take his power from one of the disciplines, and if he chooses all of your powers from the same discipline, you automatically get the Primus power. So here's what's cool. You pick one from whatever discipline you want. That's all of them. You automatically get the Primus. So you can have several powers that you can use in the battle. So we've pre-rolled, and for the fun of it and just the easiness of it, we chose from the Pyromancy. So here we go.
Fun and easy. I'm playing Orcs. This has got to be fun and easy because I don't even know what I'm doing. Greenskins!
So, this guy here, he's my big level 3 Psyker. This guy here is a level 1 Psyker. Chad's warp guy here, Weird Boy, is a level 2 Psyker. So that's important to know the level of your Psykers. So it is my turn, and I decided that my guy here is going to try to shoot a flame breath onto these. See, I already killed one. Awesome. A flame breath onto these orcs. So, in the rules, it takes a certain amount of warp charges to have each one of these abilities go off. This takes 1 warp charge for it to go off. So I'm pretty excited about that because I'm going to flame these guys. So the first thing I do, since it's my turn, is I roll a dice to see how much warp we generate. And I rolled a 5. Can we see that, James? It's a 5.
I don't know, the camera's turned toward you guys. I'm just standing here being stupid.
This generates the size of your dice pool?
So this starts my size of my dice pool. Now, I get 5 dice to start with. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, he was, as I said, a level 3. That's important because it adds 3 more dice to my pool. And he was a level 1, which adds 1 more dice. So this becomes my warp generating power dice pool. Chad now gets 5 dice as well. And he was a level 2, so he gets 2 more for his.
Let me ask real quick. So I got 5 dice because you rolled 5?
Exactly.
Okay.
And if it was your turn, you would roll and see how many.
Either way, we both get that same starting amount of dice.
Same starting amount. And then however many levels you have of Psykers adds to your dice pool.
Okay.
Now, as I said, I am going to try to bring up this, or cast, or however you want to put it, this psychic ability onto this group of orc boys. Now to do it, as I said, I needed to have 1 warp charge, and to get those you need to have a success on your dice rolls. A success is basically 4 up. 4 or higher.
Are you throwing gang signs?
4 or higher. Yo, we're the 4 up club. So 4 up on dice. Well, I really want to blast these guys, so I choose out of my pool of how many dice I'm going to try to roll to get that 4 up. Now, the more dice you roll, the only problem is the bigger the chance becomes of rolling double 6s. If you roll double 6s, it becomes Perils of the Warp. Peril! They are very bad now. So, I decided I'm going to use 3 to try to do this to this horde of boys there.
Ooh.
And I actually got 3 successes, a 4, a 5, and a 6. So I actually reached my 1. So I can cast it. Now, to deny this, we can still do Deny the Witch. It's a little bit different. And this actually becomes very important. Even though I only needed 1 success, I have 3. It becomes important because for Chad to deny me, he needs to be able to get rid of all of my successes.
On
so
6s?
It becomes Chad's turn. And since he has no pluses, which we'll talk about in a little bit, he has to try to pick how many out of his dice pool he wants to roll to deny.
Ouch.
And he can say, I don't want to. It's up to him.
I really don't want to lose that many guys, so I'm going to go with 5 and hope I get really lucky. So I need to get 3 6s, right?
And you get 3 6s to nullify each one of those.
Oh, I'm going to go really for the gusto. This is going to hurt bad. And there's not a single 6 in the house.
So it's not denied, so it would go off, and we would count it up and kill off whoever ended up being dead from that effect. Now, I still have this amount of my dice pool, which means I can still manifest more psychic powers. Chad only has 1 to try to deny me. So this guy is now going to cast, he's going to try the same type of thing onto his weird boy.
Nope, you can't use the same power.
He can't. He can. So he's going to do...
Let me clarify
I've got the rules back here.
Yeah, so he cannot cast the same or manifest the same psychic power twice in the same turn. I can, however, have different psychers do
the same power.
The same power.
Okay.
So he's going to manifest this, and he's going to blow his green flame of doom onto you.
Beg for your miserable life. Give up while you still can.
Now here's where it's a little bit different. I still only need 1 success, and I want to keep these aside, so I'm going to use 3 dice. And, oh, I fell. I got not a single 4. So that goes off. Neither one of those guys can cast that spell.
Do the doubles cause anything?
Only if they were double 6s at this point.
Okay.
Now, if I'm summoning demons and things like that, there are any doubles that show up can cause some problems depending on who you are casting. So those dice are gone as well. So my dice pool is now down to this far. I can continue now to cast or manifest different psychic powers that I want to, and Chad can try to deny. So let's back up and say, okay, I'm going to try to cast that. Let's say I didn't fail, and I'm going to try to do that again. So I roll, and I'm going to fudge the dice here. I rolled a 6, so I'm successful. Now Chad's got 1 dice to try to deny me, but here's where it's a little bit different. He gets his 1 dice, but first of all, this is his weird boy, so he is a psyker. So he gets a +1 to deny that psychic ability. The second thing is, he is actually, we said, a level 2, and I'm only a level 1, so he's higher, so he actually gets another +1. So he gets +2 to deny my success.
So instead of a 6, I can do it on a 4, 5, or 6?
You deny me on a 4, 5, or 6.
Well, that I like a lot better.
Nobody gets a
no
1.
denial.
So it still would have gone off and it would have been hit. So once all the dice are gone, you cannot manifest any more powers. If his dice end up disappearing, he cannot deny any more of my powers. It just depends on how big your dice pool is and what you're going to be able to do. Remember, 4s up are able to get you the successes. Your successes need to equal or beat the amount of warp charges each one of your psychic powers cost.
Let me ask you something. Is there any value in having any dice left over at the end of the phase, or am I better to use them up early and
Once
make sure
the phase is over, if I had 3 dice left and we were done, they go and we cannot save them.
Can't save for later, huh?
So might as well use them as you got them. All right, new scenario real quick. It's now his turn, and Chad is going to do the same type of thing and going to try to hit these Ultramarines here with the same type of psychic ability, the Flame Breath. So he's got them both on here. He has his 4 dice, we'll say, that he's going to try to take me out with. So he needs 1 success.
4, 5, or 6, right?
Nope, just yep, 4, 5, 6, sorry, yeah.
3 successes.
So 3 successes. Now these poor guys are going to have to do that, get 3 of them, 6s up. I don't think they're going to make it. Now here's the interesting thing. We'll notice that once again, this Psyker guy is over here. He's within 12 inches of him and wearing a psychic hood. Because of that, he can try to take that power onto him, and he can deny the witch instead of these 2 poor guys. Now, if he does it, first of all, he's a Psyker, so he gets +1. He's a higher level Psyker, so he gets a +2. So once again, he'd have a +2 to deny it, so I can deny his on a 4 or better. So he has 3 I have to beat, so I'm going to use my 5 dice, and I get 1, 2. I still don't make it, so I don't deny him because I needed to get all 3 of those. Now, he tried, even though he failed. It does not hit him or harm him in any way. It would just be resolved, oops, as normal against the 2 Ultramarines. Had he been successfully able to deny it, it just would have denied it and been over at that point.
Let me ask, so he's because he has a psychic hood, anybody with a psychic hood within 12 inches of another unit can take on, redirect, absorb whatever that psychic attack, even though the attack wasn't aimed at him.
Exactly.
Wow.
As long as they're within 12 inches.
That's kind of cool.
If it fails, it still hits the target. If it successfully does, it's just denied.
But it's not just any Psyker. It has to be somebody whose codex says that figure is wearing a psychic hood.
War gear of psychic hood.
Okay.
Okay, one last thing that's really kind of cool. We'll go back to this point right here. Little hello, everybody. Okay, so we go back to this point right here. And we're playing in the game. And I decided that I'm going to do some type of blessing on these guys because I want them to be buffed up in the game. So I decided, well, I'm going to cast this Warp Charge 1 onto these squad of Ultramarines from my Psyker. So I roll my dice. I get a success because it's a 4 or better on those dice, and I needed just 1. So now I say, oh, these guys are blessed. Here's the cool thing that's kind of interesting. Chad can say, I don't want those guys to be able to shoot better or save better or whatever the blessing does for him. He could take his dice pool and say, I want to try to deny the witch. Even though I didn't target any of his figures, he can actually try to deny me from helping my own guys out. So he can take as many as he wanted from his dice pool that he had, but he gets no pluses, no bonuses for anything. He has to get a 6 to deny. So he can try to deny my 1/6 by rolling his dice. And he gets a 6, that squad's no longer getting the blessing that the Psyker would have instilled upon him.
Wait. There's a better way to take care of a wizard. You reckon...
So Orcish faith denied the Emperor's blessing upon
That's
those
right.
poor Smurfs.
Right?
All right.
Gork and Mork denied the Emperor right there. James!
What?
Where are you?
here.
I'm right here.
Well, why aren't you running the camera?
Hey.
James?
What?
Why aren't you running the camera?
Because you told me to come over here.
Alright. Well, thanks for watching 40K Amateur Hour for our Psychic Phase of new 7th Extra Edition, whatever you want to call it. Tune in next time.
Comment, subscribe, post, comment stuff below.
You said comment twice.
Comment.
Well, I really want comments.
Happy comments.
Nope. Well, we take the good with the bad.
You're blowing in my ear.
Bye now.
Mm.
Cut!